Welcome into Rebound Off the Net. I'm your host, Joshua Cox, and today we have a special guest. Our guest today is an indoor football coaching legend. He has won 4 championships across the IFL, NIFL, and CIF. He has an overall record of 145-87. He now enters his 6th season as the Salina Liberty head coach. Our guest today is Coach Heron O'Neill. Coach O'Neill, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, to start off with, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got involved in this brand of football.
I'll take it all the way back to the beginning. I'm starting as Pee Wee ball, Cal Park Rams. My dad was my first coach. He was a position coach and got me involved in football probably about the age of 6 or 7. From there, I went to Chicago Mount Carmel High School, where I played along the likes of Donovan McNabb, Simeon Rice. Won a 3-point shootout with Antoine Walker. He went to my school as well. So multiversed in that. From there, we won, 3 state titles in my 4 years there at Chicago Mount Carmel. From there, I got a scholarship to Western Michigan University. From there, I was an undrafted free agent to the Jacksonville Jaguars, then to the Chicago Bears, then to the Berlin Thunder in the last year of the World League. And then I played 4 years of arena ball, mostly with the Milwaukee Mustangs in Arena 1. Ended my career with the Green Bay Blizzard, where I tore my shoulder up and had to have 2 or 3 surgeries on that shoulder. I went back to school, got my degree, Bachelor's of Science from Western Michigan University, and I've been coaching. This will be my 19th year. So basically went right into playing football, NFL football, to arena football, to coaching. Started off with the Wyoming Cavalry in 2005. That was my first year as the defensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator there in Casper, Wyoming. So it was definitely a blast. I met a lot of good people that I'm still friends with to this day. From there, I went on to be the head coach for the Billings Outlaws from 2006 to 2010, winning 3 national championships there, and beginning the movement of players moving up. We moved up probably about 24 to 30 players that got opportunities to play at the higher level, starting there in Billings, Montana. We won the 2006, the last year of the NIFL, we won that. That was a 26-team league that we won. And then 2009 and 2010 was the first 2 in IFL history. And that was another 24 to 26-team league that I've won, that we did a great job here in Billings. And then a tornado hit here in 2010, right before our first playoff game. And we had to move our team to a different location to play the actual games. From there, I went to Colorado Crush, Colorado Ice. I was there for 5 years, winning Coach of the Year 2014, the first that I've won in the IFL. Then I went to Dodge City, which is in the CIF, just as a defensive coordinator with Coach Ponder. Had great time down there, learned a lot there as well. From there, I signed on with Salina. Salina at the time, they were the first 2 years of their existence, they were 3 wins and 21 losses. So it was a job that really nobody wanted. But if you look at my track record, those are the only type jobs I really want, because if you can go to, Wyoming, I'll rewind it all the way back. They didn't have a winning record before I got there. Billings I think they were 2-13 the year before I got there. Colorado, I think, were 500, a little bit below 500 when I got there. So everywhere I went, I've taken jobs that they didn't have much success. And that's the thing that I love the most, is to bring that enthusiasm, that hunger, and that know-how to get wins, to turn your franchise around. I mean, that's what I've done my whole career, no matter what league I've been in, no matter where I've been. I mean, it's not like I've been in Chicago, LA, or big cities and anything like that. That's probably why you haven't heard much about me. But go to these smaller towns like Salina and turn that whole thing around. I mean, we went my first year 2018 was my first year there. We went to the Northern Conference Championship. We lost there. And then the last 4 years in Salina, we played in the national championship game. So doing that, and then being inducted into the IFL Hall of Fame in 2021, which one of only 3 coaches to do that. I've been around the block a lot, and I still have a lot of gas left in my tank. I know at least I have 10 to 15 more years left. So it's been a blessing. God has truly blessed me, and I have a great support staff with my wife and the things that she do to let me and allow me to coach, because I live here in Billings, Montana, but I coach in Salina. So for her to be gracious enough to let me do that, and I can say I've been blessed, truly, truly blessed.
Yeah, do you have a favorite stop or favorite season along the journey?
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite stop or a favorite season along the journey?
Well, I would say Billings, because that's where I still stay. I mean, I've never been to a spot like this. Growing up in Chicago, this is the total opposite of Chicago. Just to see, how people coexist here. But the thing that I fell in love with is the camping, the hiking, being up in these mountains. Never seen some of this type scenery. Drove past Flathead Lake, which is beautiful. Can't wait to experience that a little bit more. I just love this area. And the people here in Billings make me feel at home. Most of the places I go, somebody in there knows me and always shows love. So it's like that TV show Cheers. You always want to go where people know your name. And here in Billings, my name rang very well out this way.
Yeah. How would your players describe you as a coach, and what is your coaching style and philosophy?
I would say I'm a player's coach for the most part, but I'm very serious about my craft. This is how I support my family. This is how I make my living. So I take this very serious. But I do have that softer side to me that I hang out with the players here and there. We throw barbecues so I can get to know them. We have coaches shows where I invite different players on to get to know them a little bit. So I would say it's old school with the new school feel about it as well. Because I do listen to the hip hop, Lil Durk, Moneybagg Yo, and all those type guys like that. We went to a concert this August to see those guys. Finesse 2 times, So you got to stay current. That's the thing that I will say is I've stayed current by, being a coach. It's about culture, and you have to know the culture of the kids that you're actually trying to lead. You got to understand how they think. Like I said, I got a bachelor's degree from Western Michigan University with exercise science with a emphasis in cardiac rehab. But my minor is sociology, which is the study of society. And I think I use that more than anything that I've ever learned, besides the different things I've picked up from the different coaches that I played under. I use that a lot, just to know people. That's all coaching really is know people. You have to be sharp with your X's and O's, but you have to be able to motivate people, and everybody's not the same. So you can't treat everybody in this cookie cutter type environment. You have to learn your player, understand your player, and let that player understand that you just want the best for him. And sometimes it comes across, kind of harsh, because that's a little bit of that Chicago comes out of me, but I think that's passion. And I think that's what my players see. And that's why all my players that's played for me, the one thing I can say, you will leave a better football player. You will learn how to act as a professional. Those are the things and qualities that I like to instill in my ball players. And I like to, I do talk about, going back to school, getting your degree. We had a couple guys last year, they were doing their masters online while they played for us. I'm big about that. Just guys getting degrees in general, just to be good in society. So it's a lot that goes into coaching, but it breaks down to just relating with people.
You talked about it, the Liberty's first 2 years in existence, they had a different coach, and they went to about 3-21. And then they brought you in, and you were able to turn it around. What made you be able to turn it around so quickly?
Well, nothing against the previous coach that was there. It was just a different mindset in which I brought. I brought national recruiting in instead of just trying to just recruit the state of Kansas. I had players that had followed me from Dodge City that we were pretty successful, that were rookies, bringing a lot of those guys with me. They believed in what I can do, as not just on the field, as far as the X's, O's, and wins and losses, but helping them to try to promote them to the next level, which we were able to do that in Salina. So I would say it was just a different philosophy of recruiting nationally, bringing Coach Martinez along with me, who's the yin to my yang, so to say. I'm bad cop, he's the good cop. I've never met a man that is so positive in my life. He's a guy that he rarely cusses, he rarely raises his voice. It's just a total different style than me. And I just think the compliment that he gives me is like I said, perfect yin to the yang, and it balances well with the ball players, because there's certain ball players that really don't talk with me but will talk with him, and there's certain ball players that don't talk to him that talk with me, and I think we are a great complement, a great 1-2 punch. He's been with me since my Colorado days, so I think by bringing him along, and he also helps out in the front office. He's a master, bringing in $50,000-$60,000 in corporate sponsors. He's a big advocate in getting our ball players the food coupons in which they get each week to eat. He goes out and get that. So he does a lot of different things that a lot of people don't know, that's made me very successful. And that's why I was blessed to have him introduce me into the IFL Hall of Fame. He was the one that inducted me in. He was my speaker. He knew my history. And he did it pretty much. He studied and did it, but when it came time to actually do the speech, he didn't even have any notes. He knew it all by head, because that's how great of a friend he is. So I wouldn't have been able to do anything these past 12 years without Coach Martinez being there. So I don't want to take all the shine. And then also it was a little turnover there with the ownership group, that when I came in, I had to have that power to hire and fire the ball player. I'm a firm believer in what Bill Parcells said. I read his book many times. If you want me to cook the dinner, let me pick the groceries. So I couldn't go into a situation where someone else is going to tell me who I can and can't have on my team. I know what I know, and a lot of things that I do, I go with my gut feeling. And with ball players, it's no different. So you had to bring a different type athlete to Salina, and the ownership group agreed with that, and our ownership group got stronger as I got there. We added Dan Keyboards, we added Jimmy Sponder to an already strong ownership group, that once we got those last two pieces, we took off into another stratosphere, and that's why we've been to the last 4 national championship games. Is a direct indicator of all those guys. It's a joint interest. It's not just me. I'm just the face of it. But if you look at Dan Mendocino, you look at Dan Keyboards, you look at Josh Perez, Tom Perez, Big Roy, all of these guys are owners for the Salina Liberty, and they will do anything for their team. They fight hard for you on and off the field. I'm lucky enough that I ran into them, and I'm so thankful that I'm employed by them. They take care of me like I'm one of their own. I learned so many different life lessons from them, and I think that is reciprocated through our players. The players see that growth in what they do with us as well, how much they care and how passionate they are for just to have a winner in Salina, Kansas. And now that we do, the city of Salina has stepped up, trying to, come on board with us, different sponsorship deals and things that we got going now. The most sponsors we've ever sold was this year, because they see that incline of, success, and everybody want to be around a winner. So we have the secret sauce there in Salina, and I'm loving every piece of it.
You talked about growth a little bit. The franchise has grew a lot during your tenure. Where do you want to see this franchise go?
Well, it's funny you asked that. This summer was a very difficult summer for all of indoor football, with everything that's happened, the XFL and USFL merging, the CIF dissolving. We didn't know what was going to happen in Salina. And I bring it back again. If it wasn't for our ownership in Salina, I don't think it would be 16 teams in the AFL. I truly don't. They were a big advocate in getting these other teams on board with them, and they jointly came in together. But I truly believe if it wasn't for our ownership group, um, Southwest Kansas ownership group, Rapid City ownership group, Wichita ownership group, Billings ownership, like if they didn't have those different talks after the season was over, there would be no AFL for us. And subsequently, I probably would be somewhere else. I never thought the growth of Salina would be to the magnitude of the AFL. I never thought we would ever get to that point. But once they said that the ink is dry on it and we could actually make it public, you just don't know how excited and ecstatic I was to have an opportunity to be not mentioned like I'm like Coach Hohensee and all these Coach Arbet, all the greats, Coach Markham, who won 3, 4, 5 Arena Bowls. I'm not saying I'm them, but to say that I coach in the same league that they coached in, I'm following in their footsteps. It's an honor. I'm extremely excited for it. Our ownership group, they kind of understand, AFL. They understand football, which is the major thing, but the players, they totally understand. Our social media has gotten better. Like everything is getting better because we have to. You have to be a certain standard when you're in the AFL. And it's like everybody, I think Coach Walker said it best that back in the day when all this started, the AFL was Big Brother and all these other leagues were the little brothers. So I just think we're just revisiting history is what this is. And to have, Lee Hutton leading this whole thing up, I can't wait to get my opportunity to talk with him. And I'm just amazed with the things he do, how he conducts himself and how successful and prominent that he is. I can't wait to have a phone call with him, sit down with him. I mean, he's a brilliant man. To have him leading this whole thing up and the vast resources he can tap into. I followed every um, interview that he's done, and I'm super impressed with what he does and the class personifies. I mean, his class. He's a first class type person, and you can see that's what he's putting into this whole thing. He's given his heart and soul. Mr. Gaines is doing a great job as well with he's behind the scenes getting a lot of work done that a lot of people don't know. Mike McCoy is a guy that I've known for almost 15 years. He's the deputy commissioner. He was telling me about this AFL, and to be honest, I didn't think the Salina was going to be able to do it. And, God aligned those stars up that we were able to be asked to be in this league, and we're so grateful.
Well, going with that, what was the process like of coming into the league? How did that come to be?
Wow. That is it's a very hard question because I really wasn't on the ground doing the face-to-face, the day-to-day. Our ownership group for about 3 months, we're going back and forth with 3 or 4 different other leagues that's out there. And they came to the conclusion that the AFL offers them the best opportunity to get what they're trying to get out of this whole thing. But it was a very difficult, because I'm not a very patient person. I'm very impatient. I like to know what I'm doing. I like structure. And for about a 3-4 month window there was no structure because we didn't know exactly what we were going to do. And, I like to, get my recruiting done early. I couldn't recruit. It was very difficult for me. And I was very frustrated. And my owners felt that. They understood where I was coming from. And I'm just glad they were understanding to me that I wasn't trying to be a butt. It's just that I'm used to doing things at a certain time of year. And I was not able to do it. And then they wasn't giving me the answer of what league we were going into. I just keep hearing 4 different leagues, and it was just very frustrating. It was almost like that movie, The Accountant. It's when Ben Affleck was in there and he couldn't finish the actual the configuration of this problem he had, and he kind of was going crazy. That's kind of how my summer was, which was no fun for my wife. And I know I was definitely a butt, and I try to do good things and, take her nice places for our anniversary to make up for all of that. Because for her to deal with that version of me was not a very good version of me. I was very, very frustrated. So I'm very thankful by God to be blessed to be in the AFL.
You won championships in 3 different leagues. Do you believe this new challenge, or do you believe this is a new challenge for you personally to win an Arena Bowl championship?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be mentioned among the greats. It's great to be in the IFL Hall of Fame, but I want to be mentioned in every league. I want everybody to feel my presence, so to say. I feel this is what I was born to do. It wasn't to play football, it was to coach football. And I thought, going to the NFL for my short stint there, my cup of coffee there, was what I was really built for. I was built to be a coach. I was created to be a coach. And in every league that I've ever been in, the opposing coach felt me. You don't have to say you like me, and there's a lot of people that don't like me. But there's nobody that can go out there and say, well, we got an easy win when Coach O'Neill is heading up a team. You're not going to get no easy win with us. We're going to battle you. Even my worst years, we will battle you all the way down to the last seconds and put a good performance out there. So I want to go down like Thanos. I'm a big Marvel guy. The Infinity Rings. I mean, I got 4 rings. I need one more to complete this hand, and we can start on the next one. So I want to come in, and I do want to win the championship. I'm not one that's going to back away from that. That's our standard there in Salina. When I first got there, it wasn't so much so. They didn't really understand it. They truly didn't believe until you show a person what you're capable of with the proper help that they gave us. The coaching staff and then the city believed and got behind us. So yes, I want to win the championship. I want to win the 2024 national championship. It's a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that's out there. We're almost done recruiting, so I think I got a pretty good football team, and we just got to prepare them up come April. And that's all you can ask for as a coach is to be to compete for a championship, to be a contender. You don't want to be the bottom feeder team. That's no fun. I've been a part of that. Like Vince Lombardi said, if you win it long enough, you'll be part of the highs of winning a lot. You'll be a part of losing as well. And it's how you bounce back from the losing is what make you as a coach. I read that in his book as well. So just looking at the different things with what we got to go through. Yes, it's a brand new league. It's a lot of good teams out there, and it's a lot of unknown right now for most of the people. But from what I'm hearing from the leadership of our commissioner, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great ride. I think it's going to be a great journey. I can't wait till they introduce all the different sponsors and things we had. It's kind of cool that they, leaked a little bit, look like the Nike thing that we got going there. So I'm a huge Nike fan. So just things like that just make you know that the AFL is back. Liberty Nation, buckle up. It's going to be a great ride.
Kind of sticking to what I was talking about there too. If you were able to win the Arena Bowl with all the accomplishments you've had, would it be your greatest accomplishment, especially in Salina, Kansas?
I'm kind of like I think Tom Brady said that it's nothing like your last one. So if I am fortunate enough to win it, I would say that would be the greatest accomplishment that I've had. But if I was in the CIF, I would have said the same thing about that as well. I don't think it matters what league. I just love to win. I mean, I'm addicted to winning. I can't stand losing. I don't like losing mentality. I get that out. I cut it out because it's like cancer. It grows. But it would be um, very delightful. It would be very good. I would love it. I think the city of Salina would really appreciate it as well. I mean, we won a national title in 2022, but this is a little bit different. This is on a bigger scale, bigger stage, more people looking, more exposure. So I think it would be huge that if we were gracious, if God blesses us enough to be there to win a championship in the AFL, it probably would be my greatest accomplishment.
Where are things at with your coaching staff? Are you bringing back most of the guys from last year, or kind of where does that stand right now?
Right now, we're still in the process of firming everything up, but I am bringing in Coach Carlos Cavanaugh as my offensive coordinator this year. So this would be my first year in probably 10 years that I won't be the head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. So I'm just going to be the defensive coordinator, but Coach Carlos is going to be the offensive coordinator. I mentioned Coach Martinez. He'll be back as well. He'll be in a different role, though. He'll be coaching the defensive backs. He'll be the special teams coordinator as well as our strength and conditioning coach. So it's a little bit different dynamics, and we have another announcement that we'll be making a little bit later. As far as our O-line, D-line coach, I'm still trying to get that all finalized and everything, but I think it's pretty much in principle we have that. I just don't want to mention that name just yet until everything is, inked on everything and going. But I think this is probably one of the better staffs I've had, with the guys that we're bringing in and putting them in different capacities, because Coach Carlos has been with us before, but not in this same capacity. So I'm very excited to see what he brings to our offense. He's got some great talent to work with. I got some great talent to work with defensively. We got a great kicker in Louise. I mean, this guy, kicking 75-yard kickoffs. He can hit 55, 60-yard field goals. So I can't wait to see what he can do. I mean, we got a great staff, not just coaching staff. We got a great ownership group, and we got great players. So I can't wait to get started.
Now you all have announced a few signings. Where are things at with putting the team together? Has it been different with the rising competition this year as you're looking for a different caliber of player?
It's actually been a little bit easier because of the hard work and foundation we laid in 2018 with the Salina Liberty. That was the hardest recruiting that I had ever. For one, being in a different league, and two, being, there. It was, like I said, it was 3 wins and 21 losses, and not a lot of people really wanted to go there. But now, with all the hard work of the ownership group, our general manager, which was Coach Flax, leading that business part, we rose like the phoenix, so to say. But it was a collective group effort to get it where people have at least heard of Salina Liberty now. Last year and the previous years, nobody even heard of the Salina Liberty. So just when you think you're doing, great work and everybody knows who you are, they don't. So this year, I think what's helped us is being in the AFL has helped out a lot. Just the different people that want to be involved with the AFL has helped out. But I truly believe it's all the hard work that, our ownership group, our GM, as well as our coaches and those players that bled, sweat, and had tears on that field. What they've done over the previous 5 years is why it was a little bit easier to recruit in Salina this year.
What are your thoughts on your all's schedule outside of Kansas teams? You're going to go to Oregon, Louisiana, and we'll also play Minnesota at home. What's your thoughts on the schedule?
I love it. My mom is from Louisiana. She just recently moved down there about 9 years ago. So hopefully she'll be able to get to that game. She's just got out of the hospital here a couple days ago. So hopefully, her health will be good. My dad got out of the hospital 2 weeks ago. So hopefully their health is good. God continues to bless them, get their health back right, that they'll get a chance to see that game. I'm praying for that. I spend a lot of time down there in Louisiana. I got a lot of cousins down that way, uncles down that way, aunties down that way, and there's a lot of good cooking down that way as well. So that I was very excited about. Oregon is one of put it this way, I've been to probably, out of the 51 states, I've probably been to 48 of them. I mean, including Alaska. I've been there too, a couple times. But I've never been to Oregon. So I'm very excited to see what that's all about. And it looks like it's close to the ocean, so maybe I can take a look at that as well. So I'm very excited about going out that way and playing the thing I'm excited about, to be honest, is playing new teams besides the CIF teams. Like you said, Minnesota, the Voodoo, which is a, rich history there. Just to do that, Council Bluffs, the Rampage, those are all new teams. So that right there, if you're not excited, I don't know what business you in, because to get a chance to play against great teams, great names, and they're new, it definitely keeps me going, and I'm very excited about the opportunity.
What's the marker of success going to be for your team this year?
Like we always say, our goals don't change. The only thing that changes is the year. So I'll kind of go through the goals. Is we want to be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. We usually say we want to have, with the number 1 seed, you'll have home field throughout the playoffs, but the AFL has a different system now, so that I'm gonna have to change some of the goals there. And we want to win the national championship, and we also want to promote players to the next level, which we've promoted 64 players in my career as a coach, 19 years as a coach. 64 players have signed contracts to the NFL, CFL, XFL, USFL, AFL, all of these different um, spots. So those 4 goals. So it's not just a personal goal. This is what we do with the Salina Liberty. This is our standard that we worked hard on. And the only way you can sit there and say those type things is you have to win. I mean, so the number one thing, like I said very early in this interview, is you just want to be a contender. That's all you can really, try to control. And sometimes you can't even control that, with injuries and circumstance and things that happen. But my main thing is want to be a contender. Don't want to be a pushover. I want a team that mirrors the image of our ownership group, mirrors the image of myself, which is, we're about business. When we step on that field, we want to get out there, we want to get after it, and we're going to battle you all the way for 4 quarters. And if we got to go to double, triple overtime, we'll do that too. That's all I really ask for out of my team, is to mirror my image and kind of march to the drum line that I lead with. That's all you can really ask for as your football team. And if you successful enough to get to the championship and win it, that's just a blessing by God.
A couple more questions for you, Coach. What's going on the next couple months with the Liberty? And is there anything you want to say and get out about the franchise?
Well, yes. I know that tickets will be going on sale February 1st. We're doing the renewal process now of all our sponsors and season tickets from the past at this very moment. So please go out and get your tickets for the Salina Liberty. This is going to be a show that you've never seen before. You're going to see an upgrade in talent. You're going to see an upgrade in coaching. You're going to see our organization take that next step, which we did last year as well. We're getting better with our fans, the most sponsorship money that we've had since I've been there. So we definitely hitting the ground running, but definitely want to make sure that those people in Salina go out there and all the surrounding cities of Salina, McPherson's and all of these different places, to get out there, Minneapolis and all these different places there, right there by Salina. Come on down, and if you haven't seen it, come check us out. I mean, it's the greatest show in that area. I know that for sure on turf. So that's one thing. We'll be announcing here April 1st will be the first day of training camp. So that's coming up pretty quickly. The new announcements from the AFL, Lee Hutton, the commissioner, spoke about that in his interview 2 nights ago. So I think all of those things are exciting new updates that will be mentioned here in the next 3.5 months before we even get started, that I think is going to breathe energy into our fans and everybody that's loving arena football.
The last question on the way out, Coach. Who's your Super Bowl pick?
Oh, wow. The popular pick is Baltimore versus San Fran. I really want to see, and this is not going to go over too well in my household because they're pretty much, my wife is a Steeler fan, but all of her family here are Niner fans. I want to see Baltimore win it. I want to see Lamar Jackson win it. I like the way he came into the NFL, the last pick in the first round, that disappointed look on his face. But the things he said after he got drafted, that interview by Deion Sanders, I still can remember it. And he was like, "You're going to get a Super Bowl out of me." He's like, "I'm not unhappy about nothing. I'm just happy to be a Baltimore Raven." And people like that, you can't help but to not root for. So I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens over the San Francisco 49ers.
Sounds good, Coach. Coach O'Neill, we appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks again for having me.